Lights, camera, action!
We're shooting threes, just SMB. We're gonna watch and review film trilogies. It's all for laughs, so just sit back. We're gonna drop dimes on this podcast.
Welcome back to old Paddington in Peru.
You're not gonna get me. You're not gonna get me this time. I won't do it.
Okay, I'll do a Peruvian accent.
Oh.
No, honestly, I don't even think I would know what that would sound like.
I do think they're British.
Based on this film?
Oh.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, there's also the Antonio Banderas. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is Shooting Threes, which of course is a basketball podcast
About movie trilogies.
Yes. I'm Sarah Griffith.
I'm Bridgett Greenberg.
And we are wrapping up the Paddington trilogy with Paddington in Peru.
I'm sad to say goodbye, but
I know. This is a new release, so spoilers if you didn't get a chance to see it in theaters.
Yeah.
But honestly, giving theatrical windows, like by the time this comes out, I'm sure it will
it's
be available.
on. Yeah, you had your shot. You know it's coming.
Stream somewhere.
You should be eagerly awaiting the release of Paddington.
I do feel like this one is
3.
quiet. Like Paddington 2, I kind of remember people being like, "Oh my god, Paddington in theaters." But this time, I mean, they dumped it off in February.
Yeah, they kind of buried it. It was a little strange, especially with the heat of 2. But, you know, in the UK, it got released much earlier, and there was fervor. I think it got released in January, if I'm not mistaken. But I am, as people are quick to point out, often mistaken. Most of the things I say on these podcasts, if you listen closely, are factually inaccurate.
Incorrect.
Yeah.
No, I do remember that it being out in January because I remember thinking, oh my god, wait, I'm going to see Paddington today. And then I realized, like, oh, it's out over there before it's out here.
Yeah.
This was released on Valentine's Day, I think, though.
It was. And what a film to see on Valentine's Day.
But yeah, this is a family movie. Why not just keep it on the shelf until like May?
Yeah, make it a summer release.
And it's kind of a summery movie.
It is. They're on vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Strange, but regardless, it's doing well.
Yeah. Oh, surely.
Paddington's raking it. He's just stuffing his little pockets with cash.
It was a pretty full theater when we saw it. We saw this movie, what was that, last Saturday?
Yes, Saturday.
End of February?
Yeah.
No, March 1st.
You know, we did see it March the 1st of the month. I will say you can't judge theaters by LA standards. Every movie is always packed.
You are so right. I saw, is it The Stuntman that came out with Ryan Gosling?
No.
What was that called?
Oh boy.
And Blunt was in it.
Yes, and Blunt.
I think it was Ryan Gosling.
No, you're absolutely right about that. I'm completely blanking on the name.
Guys.
You know what we're talking. Fall Guy.
Fall Guy. First of all, really fun movie. Really, did you see it?
I did see it. I saw it at home and I felt like I missed something.
Okay, this is what I'm going to say because I saw it at the Westfield Century City Military Zone.
Yeah.
That fucking AMC. And I saw it like, I mean, a handsome month after it had been out. Like it had, I was shocked it was still playing.
Yeah.
And the bitch was completely full.
Yeah.
And then I realized though at the end of the movie, I was like, right, this is a movie about the movie industry, and I am watching this in a movie theater that is famously very close to like Fox Studios and a lot of other big, huge movie lots. So yes, I'm sure this movie is performing well at this particular location.
I have rarely been in an empty theater in Los Angeles, and then I will visit my parents in Florida and go to a theater for a popular movie and be one of 3 people in there.
Yeah, me and Kaylee were half the audience for House of Gucci.
Well,
on a Thanksgiving break.
Well, I think even in LA that might have been a swing and a miss.
But it was like on a holiday weekend.
Yeah.
The Lady Gaga movie didn't get people into the fucking theater.
Yeah.
Come on.
I think
but I guess it was like 2 p.m. on a Sunday. I don't think the Houston crowd was all about.
I wonder if there's also a difference in places where marijuana is recreationally legal.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
Particularly with that movie.
Yes.
Probably not Paddington.
Yes, we did chase House of Gucci with some $5 martinis. As not LA happy hour prices go.
Yeah.
So
and is tradition for House of Gucci.
naturally to have martinis afterwards and be like, What was that all about?
I don't remember that movie, and that's for the best.
I just remember everybody in that movie was in another movie.
Yes, that's
like everybody showed up to set and was like, "I'm in this movie,"
and then
the person next to them was like, "Actually, I'm in this movie,"
and no one was at the wheel.
Ne'er the twain shall meet.
Anyway, we're talking about Paddington.
Paddington in Peru.
Where we are definitely all in the same movie.
We did. Okay, so speaking of movie theaters being crowded, we did miss like the first 5 minutes of this movie, which is my bad.
Which is Sarah's fault. Entirely.
15 minutes comes and goes so fast.
You would think after all the Fast and Furious movies, Furious movies, you would learn to drive faster. Furriest?
The Fast and the Furious hour.
Paddington is part of the family.
Yay! Actually, fuck Cast and Curious. They're not making that last Fast and Furious movie, by the way. Like they haven't even started filming. We know nothing about it.
It's in trouble.
It's never happening.
It's something that keeps me awake
and
at
Vin
night.
Diesel is in hot water.
Yeah, they're probably going to wait for that to cool down before they start filming.
So I say let's shelve Cast and Curious and we can just do a Paddington
yeah,
talk.
Get him behind the wheel.
CGI.
Actually, don't. If Paddington was behind the wheel, I mean, we did see what happened.
I bet it'd be some really cute hijinks.
We did.
I bet you have to sit on like a book or something.
Spoiler alert: we do see him behind a wheel in this
briefly.
Yes, yeah, and it doesn't go well.
So we did miss the first few minutes of this movie because I was late, but also because parking was bad.
Yes. Both these things are true.
We were there actually in decent timing, but that was a bad parking situation.
It wasn't great.
We went out of town to see this movie. We had to go all the way to Burbank.
Yeah. We drove that with 15 minutes out of town.
Oh, yeah. So we can make a prediction, though, of what happens in the time that we missed. My prediction is there must have been some sort of flashback.
Space.
Wow.
Paddington goes to space.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Talk about Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
No, but I think there must have been some flashback where Paddington got separated.
Yeah.
From Aunt Lucy. Yeah. In the Peruvian Amazon.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And because at one point, Paddington in the movie is like, Aunt Lucy always says that if I'm ever lost, I can just roar. And she'll roll back and we can find each other.
So like finding
like echolocation for bears.
Which is a thing.
Which is just, I mean, what we also have, which is the ability to hear a sound and know where that's coming from.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what, because there's always some kind of like.
There is some sort
flashback.
Yeah, I think so.
Some little like table setting for like, this is what the movie's going to be. This is a movie about reuniting.
I like your theory. My theory was, and we'll never know if what we're saying is true.
No.
Never know. But I think we see like a little moment with him and his parents because his parents were or him in him at the end of the movie where he came from. We just like get a nondescript version. But I think I like your pitch a little better if I'm being honest.
Maybe it's both. Frankly.
Yeah, it could be both.
We may have missed like 7 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think we missed that much because we came in and they were doing the catch up. Yes. Paddington is writing. We're catching up with what the Browns have been up to. We have missed a lot of that. We definitely missed the daughters.
Yes.
We missed the daughters for sure. But
I grabbed from that she is either going off to college or she's in college. She doesn't live at
She's
the home
applying
anymore.
to college.
That's it.
She's applying to college.
That's it.
Because she's working on she's doing a travel diary.
Right. Yeah. Right. To get into
to apply,
school.
to get into J school.
Because that's what you do when you're applying for school. You that's so fucking European privilege. Be like, oh well, we went on holiday and I wrote an essay about it.
And she's also going to college. She's not going to university.
She's not going to uni.
Yeah, she's not uni yet. It's college.
Well, travel for those fucks. It's like, oh, well, we did a 45-minute car drive and now we're in Germany.
Well, not to Peru.
Yeah, that's a little bit different.
It's a little bit different.
So they do their catch up. Everyone is older and wiser now.
Jonathan's still making stuff, but he's trying to be cool. He's J-Dog now.
Right.
That's a thing. The dad is there's a new American company that's taken over his insurance company and they want him to be bold and take risks.
Yes, which the head of that new company is Haley Atwell, right?
Is it? No.
I thought that was Haley Atwell on this movie.
I might not be thinking of the correct
Haley
Atwell.
The only reason why we have the technology to look this up.
This is the most well-researched podcast on the platform you're listening to.
I was very prepared to talk about this movie today. Well, I was just laughing because in the movie she's doing an American accent. I'm like 99% sure Haley Atwell is British.
We will fact check that later. But then one of the stranger things is that we missed, and I wish we saw.
Oh my God.
Is Sally Hawkins has been replaced by Emily Mortimer.
Yes.
Which, decent replacement as far as looks go, but
okay, that is Haley Atwell in Paddington, Peru, and she is from London.
All right.
So I don't know why she had to be American in this British movie.
We can't hire American actors.
Why not just have her be British? Well, I guess maybe it's American of her to be like, take a risk, go out there, Who cares? There's no tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that's the point.
Be a selfish asshole.
They're American, so they're coming in. They're cowboys.
We're cool.
Yeah, they want people to be base jumping like we do in America.
Naturally.
But yeah, and then we wordlessly that character, Mrs. Brown, is working on some illustrations for her own book, but is now just magically Emily Mortimer. I thought I saw Emily Mortimer, not Sally Hawkins, in these posters, and I thought that must be her sister, and they explain it away. But nope, just full recast.
Well, I do remember we ended our Paddington 2 episode by talking about like who's going to be coming back, who's in the cast. And we did have a beat where we were like, and is Sally Hawkins in it? She's not.
No, not at all.
Which...
Full stop, replaced.
Yes. So Sally Hawkins is not in this movie simply because she didn't want to be in this movie.
Which, cool. The way she talked about it specifically of like, I am done with this character. I think it's she's passing on the privilege of being Mrs. Brown. The way she spoke about it, and that makes me feel like, is this a James Bond character? Are we going to keep sliding in? Like the way she's talking about it is like, this is a whole universe of characters. It could be anyone. Miss Brown is an idea that lives within us.
There's got to be something more.
I don't want to think that. I don't want to believe.
Not necessarily nefarious, but I'm wondering if Paul King didn't direct this one.
Yeah, that she didn't want to be.
I'm out. But then Paul King is an executive producer.
Yeah, I mean, he has a signature. She might just like not want to do kids movies anymore. She might feel painted in the. I don't know.
Fair enough. I just think I respect her. First of all, I respect her decision.
Yeah.
But Paddington 2 comes out in the same year that she wins a motherfucking Oscar.
Yeah. Roll those dice again.
I would be a little bit like, I don't know, maybe the
Hitch your ride.
Academy like loves the Paddington movies, and like
that's what gets them paying attention.
We also have Academy Award winner Olivia Colman in this movie.
Yeah,
who I think literally won the Oscar the year after Sally Hawkins did.
Did she?
The Favorite?
I think so.
2018, 2019?
2019.
Close enough.
2018. Yeah. They're in the same vicinity. Yeah, hit your tail to that little bear.
Yeah, but fair enough. I will say I do support recasting in movies.
Sure.
I think maybe one of my hotter takes of it is like, I think like of the Black Panther series, like just recast the character.
Yeah.
That's a very tragic and very difficult situation they find themselves in. But like everyone has played Hamlet. Like in the theater, everyone plays every character all the time.
Sure.
In a theatrical run, you replace actors constantly. That's why some shows have been on Broadway for 20, 30 plus years. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not out of the audience's mind that we can see another face and be like, this is this character.
I mean, it worked. Emily Mortimer is good, and I forgot it.
Sure.
It was weird, but I was able to look past it. Were you not? You're making a face.
I think Emily Mortimer is very serviceable in this movie. I love her. She's great. Yeah. There's not even a slight against her. It did kind of like Sally Hawkins to me is the second lead of this movie next to Paddington. And to me, there is something just a little bit unsatisfactory to know that's like, oh, well, she just didn't want to make this movie.
There is something about that.
What?
Also, because I think especially the end of this movie plays so much on the relationship that they have built. I'm like, you don't know my friend. You don't know what he's been through.
Well, as they get to that part of the movie, I mean, there's like an obvious comparison of like, Mrs. Brown is losing her daughter to university.
Yeah.
And now Paddington might be moving away. And they have that scene that we're talking about right at the beginning of the movie where she's like, oh, the four of us used to be able to fit on this couch.
Yeah.
The kids used to be so small that the four of us could be together, and now very soon that's not going to be the case anymore. We can barely keep the kids in that, they're at that time in their life where they're realizing like we are soon going to be empty nesters.
Yeah.
So it does kind of lose some of the impact when it's like a woman who has not been in these movies.
Yeah.
Being like, oh, do you remember? Like, no, do you remember? I was there.
Yeah. Recasting works it very dependently on what the story is.
I mean, I'll live. It's obvious. I mean, whatever.
Yeah,
But
but
I think I do walk away from this movie being a little bit like, I mean, kind of miss Sally Hawkins in some of those scenes.
There were some weird moments in very key scenes where you're like, but you're not who we've been watching.
You're not my real mom.
You're not my real mom. You're
my
not
real mom.
Yeah, you're not Paddington's real second surrogate mom.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah. So that jump scare, Emily Mortimer is like Mrs. Brown. I totally thought, though, by the way, they could have easily written Mrs. Brown out of this movie by saying she's on an adventure and like maybe she comes back in for the finale for like a cute little 5-minute cameo.
Right. That's what I was like.
Whatever.
That easily could be a sister who's helping out while she is swimming the Atlantic Ocean.
Literally, she could be in fucking space, and we'd be like, yeah, that's probably the character.
Yeah. It does make that coda at the end of the movie a little hard to.
But I'm saying
bring
that's
together.
when like Sally Hawkins could come back in for like 2 days of filming.
Yeah.
But I mean, if she's
she doesn't want to do it, she doesn't want to do it. You know,
so we're back in London. Everything is all hunky dory. We're kind of coming to terms with the fact that the kids are getting older. They're starting to move on. Whatever. We get this devastating letter from Peru, from the House of Retired Bears.
Yeah.
From Olivia Colman.
The happiest place on earth.
I love the idea that there is a bear sanctuary, but only for like the really old bears.
Yeah, the retired bears, because when they've been working too long,
they're exhausted.
They're just taking their Social Security and they're packing
and the
up.
bear family's like dropping off Grandma Bear, and like baby bears also come and visit.
Yeah,
sure. So we get this letter that says like Aunt Lucy's not doing well.
Yeah,
she is just.
She's holed up. She's not participating in the retirement home event. She's
disconnected from everything.
She's working on something. She's furiously scribbling on maps, and
she very desperately misses Paddington.
And Paddington needs to get there.
Yeah,
if he can. Right.
So
now.
Of course we're going.
Of course. I mean, look, Paddington has to convince the Brown family that they're coming with, but. Mm-hmm. Now that Mr. Brown has this hot new boss, he's up for an adventure. That's
hot new boss and hot new wife.
And hot yeah, now that
we got a whole new cast of bitches, it's like, let's go. I don't know, fuck.
Yeah, I guess we're going to Peru. And they decide very quickly. Even Miss Bird, she's going to Peru.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I loved so Paddington 2 is a Mission Impossible movie.
Paddington 1. Are you saying 1 and 2? I guess both.
No, Paddington 2 was the movie that I was like, this is Mission Impossible.
Okay, because
the train sequence.
Because 1, I mean, obviously Mission Impossible Illusions. 2, I would take that, but I also, I mean, I referenced it. It is Count of Monte Cristo.
It is also Count of Monte Cristo. This movie is Indiana Jones.
Yes,
this is Indiana Jones and Paddington in Peru.
Yeah. What more could you want?
Actually, none. That is exactly what I want. Even down to the cute little animation of the plane flying over the map.
Yeah.
Down to Peru. I love that. I love to see a little plane and red dots behind it in a feature film.
Yeah.
I eat that up. We should go back to doing that every time.
Every time.
People travel. Intercut with them in the plane.
The Muppets do that so well.
Oh my God. I absolutely love a big cartoonish.
And Paddington movies will always take a chance to do something cool with animation.
Actually, we need Paul King and the Paddington writers over at Disney to figure out what they can do with the fucking Muppets, because they're just sitting on those guys.
Yeah.
And we are desperate.
Does Gen Z know about Muppets?
No.
They
know it, but only conceptually. I bet Paul King could freak a Muppets movie hard.
Don't.
He could freak it. He could take Kermit and freak it.
I don't like it. That's Miss Piggy's job.
Get me on that movie. I want to be in the Paul King Muppets movie that doesn't exist but will exist because I'm speaking it into existence now.
Yeah. They're off to Peru because Mother Superior, that's not what they call him.
I'm not Catholic. You're looking at me on this one. I'm leaving you hanging because this ain't my shit.
She had a fancy title that was more than just mother.
I do think it is mother. Well, Olivia Colman is mother.
She is mother.
So sister mother.
Sister mother. So they're flying to Peru, and the nuns are getting ready for Paddington like he is the king of the home of retired bears. We get a lovely song that was stuck in my head for a solid week, sung by Olivia Colman, the singing nun of the movie, and an amazing Sound of Music reference. Olivia Colman is so good in this movie. I have a hard time ranking the Paddington cameos, we'll call them. And in every take, she delivers a line. It is funny. And then she has this like facial expression to what she just said.
Yeah, she's giving like a sitcom character take to the camera.
And like, but sitcom character, but film actor subtle.
Yes.
Still.
Yes.
Not like, it's not goofy or cartoony.
I should say BBC sitcom take.
Yeah.
Because that's really where she got her start.
Sure. Yeah.
Television. That world. She is funny in the twinkle of her eye.
Yes.
Like there are some people that give very funny performances, and then there's people like her, like Jean Smart, like Julie Louis-Dreyfus, where they will inhale in a certain way. That is the joke. That's funny.
These micro expressions that are just funny, that just compute so well on character doing the smallest thing. Olivia Colman has never ever been bad. She is always worth watching. If she is in a movie, go see it. If she is in something, go do it, because she can do anything. And it will blow your expectations. So we get this lovely Paddington in Peru.
Which I have to confess, there was a number of times watching this movie in theaters where I did have to stifle my own laughter, because left to my own devices, I would have been like head back, jaw unhinged, cackling.
There were several moments. Yeah. There were
also the editing with Olivia Colman. I do want to give a shout out to those folks, because they know to keep the camera on her for just long enough to let that little giggle settle before,
and then
because
move on.
The Sound of Music bit, she finished Paddington in Peru, the song, and then she's spinning, and it just goes on for like a second too long, where it's like really, really funny.
Yeah, without overkilling or drawing any attention to it. It is, it gets like
a really good.
It just starts to get awkward before it cuts away. And she has something in her eye that it's almost like communicating with the cameraman of like, cut away.
We kind of skipped this part because it's like a little joke, but I also got a huge laugh out of Paddington putting his whole face against the glass to recreate the passport photo.
Yeah.
So I thought that was so fucking funny.
He has a London passport, and that is a big deal. We also skipped, he has to go back to Peru. He goes to Gruber's, the antique store.
Oh my God, right. Wait, we need to get back to the fact that this is a story about an immigrant.
And it always is at its core.
Yeah.
So Paddington is a Londoner. He has his UK passport. He's very proud of it. But when he is called back to Peru, he's like, I'm a Londoner now. I don't know if I belong in Peru anymore. He's talking to Mr. Gruber about it. He sees this like a little bear totem that speaks to him in a very funny flashback. It like immediately connects him to his Peruvian bear roots, and Mr. Gruber says something of like, yeah, of course you can be more than a couple, that you belong in London.
Yeah, because of mixed emotions.
Yeah, something like that. And I bet Gruber, the German, does have mixed emotions about where he's from. But it kind of like Paddington starts to get, he's very proud to be in London and to be a Londoner. He feels like that makes his family proud, but he's from darkest Peru, and that's always part of him.
This is something that I think this movie is like not as strong as Paddington 2, because that is the through line of the movie of like, where are you from? How can you connect with that? But also honor and love where you live now. Like this kind of like dual world that Paddington and many people live in. I mean, you don't even have to be an immigrant to feel that, even if you've just moved to a different city as an adult. Like, you can still have that draw back home. I just think that like we kind of lose that in like the middle part of the movie, because it's not just hijinks. They like physically have to travel. Like, I just think like We get a little bit
I think
murky.
In the middle, I think it brings it back very nicely at the end.
Yes.
Beautifully at the end.
Yes.
But yeah, well, because Paddington is because of the travel and it being a kid's movie, and Paddington, a big part of his personality is his clumsy bear nature.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of him fumbling around in his own hometown. But yeah, it does bring it back nicely. We do forget that this is part of the movie because it becomes an adventure story.
Which we can't bother to go through the beats by beats of what happens in this movie, but like in large swaths, we learn Aunt Lucy's gone missing.
Yes.
Which
once Paddington gets there, he scrambles up to see Aunt Lucy, which is so freaking cute, and you just know something bad's happening. But he is running through that home of retirement bears.
Yeah.
He knows exactly where her little apartment is, and you're like, oh no.
I'm telling you, there was like a 12-minute section of this movie where I was like, if she is sick and or dying, I won't be able to make it out of this movie.
Leave.
Like, that's going to be the end of me.
Again, not a movie crier, but I did think if I have to see this little bear cry, I'm going to lose it.
I did think, oh my God, am I going to have to like actually sob next to Bridgett right now? Like, this is terrible.
I was scared. I was like, if Paddington cries, I'm going to lose it.
And then I also was like, no, they wouldn't do this in a family movie, but like, yeah, they would.
They have.
Yeah, they would.
They have.
Uncle Pastuzo is dead.
Uncle Pastuzo's dead. The Lion King has a horrible death. Bambi, like there's precedent.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And for that time that it was like, where's Aunt Lucy? And I was like, oh, Paddington. I was like, oh my God, please tell me that she's just like not there for some reason.
She lost her bracelet that she always wears and never takes off, and
her glasses.
And her glasses were found on a riverbank broken. She left a note saying she's going to some rock, which name I'm forgetting.
I don't think she left a note. She just left the map.
She left the map, and yes, Paddington searches for clues, and we find out
Roomy Rock.
Roomy Rock, there it is, which is a Aztec ruin, and they're like, well, we have to go search. Olivia Colman, in a very funny way, is like, well, none of my nuns are allowed to leave. We do not. We do not leave. We do not go into the jungle. The map of the Amazon getting
I laughed.
That was very funny.
Amazonian map expanded, and they were like, "Oh, it's actually like a lot deeper than we think."
Everything in the home for retired bears is funny.
Yes. Literally every single thing that happens there made me laugh.
It's funny, but yeah, the Brown family, Miss Bird stays behind.
Mm-hmm. Which obviously that pays off.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh my God, if there was anybody that actually probably would do well, it would be her.
The Navy Widow? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she knows what's up. But I have never, I told you this, but when we were watching that movie and Mrs. Brown was there and she was like locking things down at the home. She's on the sat phone with the Brown family, and she's like, she thinks things are up. And she's going around, she's doing her checklist. Keeping things ship shape at the home for retired bears, and then she's talking to them and she's like, oh, my knees are telling me something. And I was like, I am Mrs. Brown.
Yeah.
I have OCD and bad knees.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's
the character.
That's my character. Or not Brown, Bird, sorry.
Yes.
Bird. But yeah, so the Brown family sets off to find a boat that will take them upriver so they can get to Roomy Rock.
Yes.
And that's where we meet Antonio Banderas and his daughter, Gina's the captain of the ship.
Yeah.
She actually drives the ship. Antonio Banderas just has it. There are scenes when they first meet. One, everyone's like taken away with how handsome the ship captain is, which is very funny. And then Paddington even calls him the handsome ship captain.
Yeah.
But there are so many scenes there in their first meeting. There are a couple shots where the camera's on Paddington and Antonio Banderas is speaking, and it is so hard for me not to think Puss in Boots is in a Paddington movie when we don't see him and just hear him speaking.
Speaking of James Bond, though, when Q is in the new Bond movies, I'm like, it's Paddington Bear.
That's Paddington Bear.
Wow, actually, that's so iconic. James Bond and Paddington, like two British icons.
Yeah.
We need Daniel Radcliffe to make an appearance in a James Bond movie to complete the fucking set.
I thought you were going to say in the Paddington movie.
Oh my God, Daniel Radcliffe as a villain in a Paddington movie would fucking feed families. David Heyman's oh my God, get on the phone,
It
bitch.
has to be done. Let me produce these movies. I got ideas.
Holy shit, that would fucking kill.
That would rule.
Oh my God. And the comedy between him and Julie Walters, I mean, we're leaving material on the goddamn table.
Yeah, we have so many Harry Potter
David
actors.
Heyman, come on, Colin, one more favor.
One more. Let's do another one.
I don't even know if David Heyman is still if that was just the first one, if he's still on board.
We'll never know.
Shit. At this point, any British movie, I'm like, well, that's heyday.
Yeah, we know.
It's one of 5 British producers. He's one of them.
Yeah, there's only 5.
Honest to God.
I can't name another.
There's that one guy that also works on The Crown and Game of Thrones, but
besides,
I think they destroyed him.
And then Ridley Scott.
Yeah. No, I think they shoot them dead when they're done.
Yeah, like horses.
Making things for the BBC and other streamers. They're like, all right, you're taken care of.
We're done. Besides BritBox.
So Antonio Banderas is in this movie. He's very fun in this movie. I think he left a little bit on the table.
A little bit.
I think he maybe not have gotten the full memo that, like, actually, because you're the villain in this movie, you can do like whatever the fuck you want.
Well, here's the thing. And to this we have to get into the crux of the villain, because I'm not sure if I don't think he meets the very high bar that is set by Hugh Grant and Nicole Kidman, but I think he does a great job. He is part of a family that he agrees to take Paddington because he sees there's like something in his eye. When they agree, you're like, no, something's up with this guy.
Definitely.
And then you find out that his ancestors were all like, he has this tattoo of a fist with a gold bar in it. And you find out that his ancestors were all just like gold hungry. He comes from a long line of conquistadores.
El oro loco.
El oro, the gold madness.
Crazy.
Yeah, they have the gold madness. And he has had it before. He's gotten over it. But something about this bear, because Rumi Rock leads to a trail that will take you to El Dorado, where all the treasure is. And he's like, I'm going to go follow this bear. Well,
he clocks Paddington's bracelet, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
As part of this not language that was part of the ancient Aztec culture. And he's like, this bear is going to lead me to El Dorado. I know it. And then we see him alone in his little office with these paintings, and he starts El Oro Loco. He starts having all these visions of his gold crazy ancestors.
Yeah.
And that's where I think he
this was good.
Steps it up.
This is very good. It did feel a little touch lazy that they kind of doing the same thing they did with Hugh Grant with all the costumes. They're just doing it like a little bit differently. I didn't hate it, don't get me wrong, but it was a little bit like, all right.
Yeah.
We're doing this bit.
Yeah, another madman, but you know who
talking to multiple versions of seemingly himself.
Yes, but we do get flashbacks of like him as a conquistador,
and I laughed.
Yeah,
every one of them, I laughed.
Yeah, him as like a missionary priest, and then him as a this is where we get the drag. Yeah, and it's done maybe the most tastefully in this one.
Yeah, because it's just like not happening.
Because it's because he plays like an Amelia Earhart-esque pilot that is his ancestor, and that's a touch of drag that these movies always have.
If you're making a British comedy, a man has to be dressed as a woman.
It's the only way it could be funny. But that is actually funny in that one. And he talks to his ancestors and he's dressed up as all these characters, and it's pretty funny. But yeah, the ship madness, Antonio Banderas abandons his daughter when he's like, when she's like, you're going crazy. I see it. Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to leave you on this island.
Yep.
Tough luck.
Because that's the whole thing, is that like he even left his daughter to grow up like in an orphanage essentially while he's searching for this gold.
Yes. And he does it again. And it's not great. The Brown family, none the wiser. Something happens in the middle of the night where Antonio Banderas is off the ship.
Oh, because his daughter isn't there to warn him about the sail whipping around.
Oh, the boom, because he doesn't know anything about boats. She drives the boat. He gets hit with the boom on the sail, gets knocked into the water. The Brown family doesn't realize in the morning they're waiting for breakfast.
And they're just cruising.
They're just cruising. They're just going downriver, unpiloted. And Paddington's like, let me check out what's going on. And he does. And he's like, oh, God, I don't think they're here. And he starts driving this ship. And
trying to.
to.
This is another scene where I thought Paddington weighs nothing.
This is another.
Paddington is as big as the writers need him to be.
He is a balloon.
And as small as they need him to be.
Yeah.
It is very fluid, the rules of the...
He's like a cat. He goes by the law of nature of cats, not bears.
Yes.
Where he fills the container.
Exactly.
Whatever container he needs to be in. He gets himself, he's trying to call the Browns to the ship.
This is kind of like the only real like Paddington hijinks scene of the movie.
I mean, in the chase a little bit, but that's less clumsiness.
Yeah, that's not even like of his own doing. He is being chased.
No,
this is like kind of the only time we get a scene where Paddington is being a goofy little guy.
Yeah, and he gets he tries to call them on the intercom. He gets tied up in the intercom and the wheel, and we see him roll down tied to the wheel. Anyway, the ship is off course. It gets wrecked. The Brown family has to swim to shore and spend the night in the rain, and Paddington feels terrible about it. He feels like it's all his fault. They followed him on this dangerous mission when he said he would go alone, and he can sleep in the woods, but the Brown family,
little different.
So
little different.
Yeah.
This is when Paddington, he kind of goes on his own. This is where we separate.
Yeah,
Paddington for the family.
They're following him around the woods. He's lost touch with, the way of the woods.
Yeah. I kind of, this part is like murky for me, but eventually Paddington teams back up with Antonio Banderas. He finds him in the woods.
He finds Roomy Rock after going on his own little adventure.
Yeah, that's right. He does actually find the shit. And he finds the totem that he saw earlier in Gruber's and was like, oh, okay, this makes sense.
I'm supposed to be here.
Right.
And Antonio Banderas shows up there too because he's trying to find where he got to shore and found Roomy Rock.
Right.
And Paddington gives a roar and it echoes and he thinks he hears
Aunt Lucy.
And he hears a roar back.
Yeah.
And that's what we're following for the rest of the movie. That's how Aunt Lucy finds him. And he's going there. Antonio Banderas follows him because he thinks Aunt Lucy has gone to find El Dorado.
Yeah. That's kind of like our A plot. In the B plot, Gina has found the Brown family, and they're now trying to follow Paddington and Antonio Banderas.
Yes.
Which I love. We know Gina's name. I don't know. And Captain something or other?
Yes.
Who cares?
Yes.
I certainly don't. I also felt like
it's something
the
with the
Browns
C
in this family, not as much going on with them.
No, they're pretty just lost in the woods. We're really following
and like the emotional through line, I guess, is really Mrs. Brown just kind of coming to terms with the fact that her family is physically moving in different directions, which again is like, well, nice of you to like, I get it and I'm there for that, but like, you're not Sally Hot. Like, it's not like we've grown up with you.
Well, I would say that's even the C plot because the B plot happens, I would say, back at the home for retired bears.
That's very true with Mrs. Bird.
With Mrs. Bird and Olivia Colman.
Right.
Miss Bird, while they were still in the boat, was trying to communicate with them on the sat phone. And she was like, there's like a weird electrical current happening because Miss Bird knows about electrical currents happening. And Olivia Colman kind of sketchily is like, what do you mean? This is a cabin. There's no electricity. And Miss Bird, she's too smart. She doesn't believe it and finds this big wire that she follows to an organ that has glowing lights around it. And she's like, what's that, Olivia Colman? She's like, nothing. Very funny scene.
Very funny.
We later find she presses a key on the organ and it flips around. And Olivia Colman has what she calls not a layer. Not a secret.
Yeah, that's right.
But we find out she had given Mrs. Brown this St. Christopher necklace, and that necklace is a tracking device.
This is also kind of Fast and Furious-y. I feel like this would happen in a Fast and Furious movie.
They have a homing device on them.
Definitely.
So Olivia Colman's like, let's go get him.
Which I think, jumping ahead a little bit, we do learn that Olivia Colman is actually a member of this family that's crazy for gold.
Yes,
it's like Antonio Banderas' distant cousin.
We start feeling like something's up with her, but there's a couple MacGuffins where I guess MacGuffin's not the right word, but where we're like, oh, she's going to save him because she's flying this plane to try to go save the Brown family. Right. Olivia Colman is piloting it, and they kind of intersect right as Paddington and Antonio Banderas get to this wall that seems to be El Dorado.
Right.
There's a little charm on Paddington's bracelet that fits into like a slot in a little bear statue.
Mm-hmm.
That would seem to open the gates to El Dorado.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, the gold madness has come up at the point, and Antonio Banderas is trying Paddington.
Yeah, this is like basically like all the characters converge to this point.
Yes.
We do enter a literal Indiana Jones homage chase sequence with a big boulder
through Aztec ruins. Paddington makes friends with some llamas.
I was laughing.
Amazing. That he guides with a marmalade sandwich because, of course, llamas love marmalade too.
And like a video game character, he is equipped with marmalade at any given moment.
Yes. Well, he keeps the sandwich in his hat.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter whether or not that seems feasible. And it doesn't matter if he's already previously eaten said marmalade sandwich. There will be another one.
There's another
that
one in
generates.
The hat. Yes, in the hat, like a video game character.
He went to the save point and he was re-equipped
with a
marmalade sandwich.
He loaded out. He reloaded.
Exactly.
Yeah, but he has his trusty umbrella, which very trusty. It's one of the best umbrellas on the market. If you can get it. Winchester, I believe.
Yes.
That's what he calls it.
Yes, that's right.
And he puts his little sandwich at the end of it.
He must have got it at Harrods.
Or Gruber's. He's shop small. He puts his little marmalade sandwich and he rides the llama through the ruins while Antonio Banderas is chasing him. So
fucking cute.
Great chase scene. Honestly, like their whole thing through the ruins.
Very funny.
Very funny, very cute. I could have watched that for a long time.
And real stakes. Like it really was like, oh.
Yeah, Antonio Banderas was enough of a madman. He might have tried to kill Paddington.
Yeah.
And we would have killed him.
Yes. The Browns are picked up by plane.
Browns are picked up by plane and find Paddington. That's where the plane crashes down with the help of Jonathan's gadget wizardry and some bravery by Mr. Brown facing a spider.
Yep.
The stuff in the plane, again, very funny. They manage to land and get out, and Olivia Colman's there, and we find out, then we get the reveal that she is part of this gold crazy family.
Yeah.
He calls her like cousin
mother
Olivia Colman.
She's not just sister, she's a cousin.
And she's even more dangerous because she's armed with a musket.
Yeah.
Her great grandfather's musket.
Yeah.
But you know, a trap was set up by Gina and the Brown family, and they Antonio Banderas sees the light.
Yeah, they resolve. All the villains resolve their issue, and then we get to like the real.
Yeah, he sees Olivia Colman holds Gina hostage.
Right.
And Antonio Banderas forgets his gold madness because that's what's important to him. He's done this before. He's come back to his daughter Gina, and he does it once again. So they tie up Olivia Colman in a net or something.
Whatever.
And the Brown family is left to find El Dorado.
Which going into the El Dorado sequence of this finale, we kind of talked about this. I was like, are these movies fantasy?
I truly didn't know what was going to happen in that scene. And for a kid's movie,
I didn't either. And I was like, oh, are we really like committed to, we're going to get into like mythology here and magic is real? I guess he's a talking bear. So like.
Right. It didn't seem that far-fetched. And I think that's why it felt like at that point the movie could go anywhere to end. And it truly had no idea. And that's rare.
It's like maybe the most unstable I've ever felt watching these movies.
Especially a children's movie.
Yeah.
I think any children's movie where I'm like, oh yeah, this movie could do anything at this point.
Yeah.
So these like spirits of the woods come out, which have been alluded to.
Yeah.
These like tree people throughout the movie. And
which I knew they were bears. But I thought the reveal that they were bears would come a little bit, but like they really did have me for like 3 minutes there. Where I was like, oh, I guess like magic is real in this world. Like, why wouldn't it be?
Yeah. Once he puts the little coin into the bear's nose,
hilarious.
A good little bit where it spits it back out, and then he rubs it on his coat.
Funny.
He rubs it on his little coat. I loved it.
Very funny.
But yeah, the spirits of the woods come out, and they like growl at the Brown family. And the Brown family's freaked out, and they're like, what was that? And Paddington was like, that is my bear name.
Yeah.
And remember his bear name from the first movie before he even got the name Paddington.
Yeah.
And they take off their ghillie suits, I guess, to reveal that they are bears. And these doors open, and we see the most beautiful forest of El Dorado. that has
Yeah.
ever been committed to film. And guess what the gold is?
It's oranges.
It's oranges, baby.
It's big orange.
El
grove.
Dorado is not full of gold. It's full of golden oranges. The most beautiful oranges, perfect, juicy, and ripe, ready for marmalade.
Yep.
This is what El Dorado is. It's a bear sanctuary, a true enclave for these rare bears.
Yep.
To play and eat oranges. And this has to be where Aunt Lucy is. And Paddington, just like a homing device, knows his aunt is there. And we go, the best reunion since Paddington 2. Another big, great bear hug.
Yeah. This one didn't make me weep like it does in Paddington 2. But then when they go on to be like, Paddington, this is your tribe.
This is where you're from. Everyone belongs somewhere. This is where you're from.
Yeah.
You got lost out of the forest and you went down this river. And that's where Aunt Lucy and Uncle Pastuzo found you.
And this is like,
and they've been taking good care of Aunt Lucy.
Yeah. And this is the most emotional part of the movie.
Yeah.
Some of it feels just like a little unearned. Right.
Yeah.
I feel harsh. It's such a
it's a little simple.
just compared to like Paddington 2, I think like really has like this big emotional like wow.
Yeah.
But again, because and maybe there's like just too many characters in this movie. Maybe there's like too much going on.
Yeah. That's all, at least in my opinion, not to say that it doesn't work. That I'm hit by this emotion.
It definitely still
especially
works.
Because you see Paddington kind of run off when he realizes like these are his cousins and aunts and uncles and neighbors, and really start to like play around with them. He takes off his coat and his hat and like becomes a bear, and they all have the bracelets that Aunt Lucy has that he's been wearing.
Because he was found with that bracelet.
He was found with that bracelet, and that's how they identify each other.
Right.
Yeah. And it's sweet. But yeah, there was a lot going on in this movie, and because it didn't feel like it was all leading to this in Paddington 2, we all were like, this is all to reunite with Aunt Lucy. This is the point of everything. The point was to find Aunt Lucy. He found something else along the way. It's still sweet, but we just weren't
even
prepared.
When Paddington, and this just occurred to me, when Paddington introduces marmalade to this tribe, like, that's a moment of like, okay, well, this is where I'm from, but hey, this is what I've learned.
He has been on such a journey throughout his life. From the moment he was lost, he has learned so much, and it is so nice to see him there. But the whole time, and I guess this is where the finale of it undercuts it a little bit, the whole time you do feel like, well, he's not this bear anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
this actually, it was, and this is where I'm like, kind of miss Sally Hawkins a little.
Yeah.
The Emily Mortimer, they cut to the Brown family, and they're so happy for Paddington. It's very sweet, but it's bittersweet because Mrs. Brown is putting the math together and is like, well, this is where he belongs.
Yeah.
This is his home. He's been looking for a home. He's found a home with us.
My other children are leaving me.
Yeah. And this actually got me a little bit.
And because that's why I said, like, it's not a failure. It still worked.
No.
I was still very emotional during this scene.
But we both agreed when they flashbacked to Paddington, because they find in Paddington's duffel coat that he still has the note that says,
please take care of this bear.
Right.
Ugh.
And they flash back to the scene where they find Paddington for the first time at Paddington Station. But it's like, definitely Sally Hawkins.
Yeah, they just cut around.
They
just cut around her.
And I feel like you do lose a little something that they then cut back to Emily Mortimer's face. It's like, I remember. Like, no, you don't.
It's so weird because they didn't need that scene at all.
No, they didn't at all.
All you needed to do was pull out that note, because just seeing that note made me emotional.
Yeah,
just seeing that note was like, oh my God, he's
No, that little flashback was the reminder, like, right, this is a movie for kids.
Yeah.
This is a movie for people that have an attention span of 6-year-olds.
Right. This is where I'm like,
some of these kids watching the movie that we saw in the theaters weren't even alive when the first Paddington came out.
No, there was a couple literal babies in there.
Yeah.
It was too late for a baby to see a movie.
Yeah.
It was too late. It was
I don't know. It was a 6:50.
It was
Friday
a 6:50 movie.
There were some kids that left early though, because I think it was like, all right, we've been done sitting in the movie theater for too long.
Yeah. That happens. But for us adults, they'd overplayed their hand. I guess for kids, you do need it's easy to say. For kids,
it's funny. I feel like the finale of this movie was on the one hand like one too many and like one not enough.
Yeah, it's It's tough, but it's very sweet. They're like, oh, Paddington's definitely gonna ask to stay. He seems so happy. He teaches, he's playing with the tinier bears. There are bears smaller than him. But yeah, he goes to the Browns and hat in hand and says, I have to ask you guys something. And the Browns are preparing for this moment.
Yeah.
They knew it was coming. But he asked them to stay. And that moment also worked on me too.
That worked really well. That worked really well.
I didn't think he was...
Don't get me wrong. It all got me.
It
all got me.
I don't know what I was expecting in this moment. Again, I didn't know what to expect. So good on the movie. If he was going to leave. Because if he stayed there, I think I would have gotten a little more emotional than if he came back.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking before you got here? I feel like if this movie came out in like the 80s or even the 90s, back when movie trilogies were 3 of them and then no more.
And final, yeah.
I bet Paddington would have stayed.
Yeah, because
that would have been like the conclusion of the trilogy.
Right, because now
and then maybe in the credits we see they visit each other and they write to each other. Like whatever.
That's kind of what I was expecting. But yeah, in 2025, I'm like, no movie, especially a movie that's been this successful, is gonna truly close the door on doing another one.
But I think. Yeah, he should be with the Browns, though.
But he should. No, that's his family now. And they were like, it was very sweet when they were like, you don't even have to ask. Of course you can stay. You're part of this family. It was an incredibly sweet moment. But before they left, they need Jonathan's help because they got to get these bears eating some marmalade. They got to introduce these bears to marmalade. Where they get sugar,
we don't have to worry about that.
We don't have to worry about that.
For them to figure out.
They have the oranges and they have the sugar, and that's all they need. So they build the machine.
Because marmalade is like 80% sugar.
It's mostly sugar.
Like they're being cute by serving up oranges as like the primary ingredient. I'm like, it's mostly sugar.
It's like when they first, this is me being an idiot, but when they first introduced marmalade and oranges, I was like, oh, I guess it is orangey. I haven't had marmalade that much in my life.
Yeah. Also, we're American.
Yeah. So like marmalade's not really a thing that I've
We have jellies and jams.
Yeah.
Maybe preserves.
Yeah.
But marmalade, that's really not that's really not in our lexicon.
Yeah. I'm reaching for strawberry grape. I'm not reaching for orange.
No, I mean
maybe that's on me, but
actually maybe I knew marmalade was oranges because of the Paddington. No, I feel like I knew prior.
I feel like I knew, but it was definitely like,
you know what? It's something you never fucking have to think about.
I never thought about it. I think it's a better way to put it. I never thought about it.
There's a lot of things in this world that's like, oh yeah, I guess now that I've been forced to think about it, that's correct.
Yes. I guess prunes are plums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we raisins or grapes. Get a load of that.
We've taught a lot of people that.
Get a load of that. So the movie concludes. Paddington goes back to London.
Yes, with the Browns.
We get a very sweet scene where more bears are visiting London.
Yes, he gets to take more bears around, and the Brown house is full of bears.
And when they all slid down the pole to go down the stairs, I was very happy to see that.
It was very sweet, and we get another very cool tour of London scene with the bears. They're loving it. Bears love London.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do a werewolves in London parody with bears, but it doesn't work.
That's just Paddington.
It's just Paddington.
That's just Paddington.
The bears are enjoying London. Movie closes, credits start rolling, and then
which I did pump my fist. I was like, yes!
I was getting ready to go. Sarah arm bars me. Like, sticks her forearm into my chest.
Don't be stupid.
End credit scene. And I'm like, good call.
Of course.
Not
even. This was like a mid-credit scene.
Yeah, it was beginning. It's a kids movie. They're not. They
won't put it at the end. You're gone by that point. But they will put. I bet there's like a cute little something at the end. We didn't see it. We didn't see the beginning. Fuck. But the mid-credit scene, just the establishing shot of the prison, I was like, I fucking know exactly what's going on here. Paddington, very cute. He has given English names to the bears, and they're all named after different stations. Because he's named after the Paddington station.
Yeah, they're all named. Very sweet. Cute. The whole bear family goes to visit Hugh Grant in prison, which is incredible.
Yes.
Hugh Grant's doing great in prison. Whatever his name is, Felix
Buchanan.
Phoenix
Buchanan.
Phoenix.
Sick. Absolutely sick character.
Incredible name. Phoenix Buchanan, doing great in prison, about to get out in a couple weeks. And guess what he's doing? He's casting a Three Little Bears play.
Yep.
And he picks the cutest, tiniest bear to play baby who's ready to go. Incredible to see him. This scene is just like, how can you not smile?
I was disappointed not to see Nicole Kidman.
I thought she was going to be like roaming around roaming around the grounds or something.
We forgot this part, but we see Olivia Colman gets reassigned because she was like never a nun in the first place. She was just lying to get close to whatever. And it is kind of the same joke for Nicole Kidman where she's assigned community service and she screams bloody murder. But for Olivia Colman's case, she's assigned to the Antarctic.
And the home of retired polar bears
which caused her to scream in agony, which is so funny.
Which is very funny. Which she will, because you know the thing with bears. If it's brown, lie down. If it's black, fight back. If it's white, you're dead.
Say goodnight.
Say goodnight.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So she should be screaming.
And you know, polar bears are the size of like a fucking Honda Odyssey. They are massive.
Yeah, they're big boys.
Massive.
They're not Paddington balloon weight. You know, they're big bears.
No, them bears are real. I would like to see though. Do you think like the Coca-Cola bears are up there?
Oh, maybe
retired from there.
More. Yeah, it's all old bears.
But no, out of the three, this is, you know, honestly, I don't even want to call it a weaker entry. I think like
it's still good. It's still making money. I think it's been unfairly maligned as not as good as 2.
Right now it has a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I think is falling right where Paddington 1 just about fell.
Okay.
And I think it's more comparable with Paddington 1.
I do. I think it is a better. My official ranking, now that we've come to the end of the trilogy, is 2, 3, 1.
I could say that as well.
Because I don't know if I'll ever rewatch 1. I would love to rewatch 2. I would rewatch 3. For Olivia Colman's performance alone, we'll want to rewatch 3. And to see the beginning.
That too.
And to see the first 7 minutes.
I think this movie is 1 and 2 combined.
Yes. There's a little, it's more plot driven.
Yes.
It's less just like hijinks.
But there's just like an emotional weight that isn't in, it's there, it's not entirely there. Where Paddington 2, I think emotionally is like 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Paddington 3 is more like maybe 3 or 5 pounds.
Yeah.
Which is still an effective workout.
You'll still feel something.
Yeah. But again, I kind of can't help but wonder, like, if Sally Hawkins is in this movie, I think it may.
There are some moments, especially at the end, that feel like it would have tied it together a little bit better. But yeah, I wonder if the Brown family, because this movie's doing well, I don't know if Paddington will end.
Is there going to be another? Well, there has to be another Paddington movie so we can get Daniel Radcliffe in them.
So I don't know if this is the end for Paddington.
Nah, come on, he'll be back.
He'll be back. It's
come on.
We're Paddington forever.
Come on,
Paddington forever.
Oh shit, that'd be real. That would kick ass.
Paddington forever.
But what would he even do now? It does feel good. They could also leave it at this.
They could. It feels like a perfect coda to these films.
Yeah. Because he's a bear of two worlds, and everyone respects that.
Yeah. And he
going
found
back to this as an immigrant story, like that's actually,
and it ends well. He's back at his desk, and he has come to terms with that. He has his pictures with Uncle Pastuzo and Aunt Lucy. He has his little London snow globe. He has his little tree from El Dorado that he's taken home.
Yeah, and he says it is mixed emotions, but that's okay.
And yeah, so maybe he goes back to El Dorado. I don't know. Maybe El Dorado finds him.
Maybe.
But then do you recast the Brown family entirely? Who's to say?
As we're wrapping up, two little things of note. One, they're eating dragon fruit a lot on that boat, which is so good.
Yeah.
But at one point in the movie, it's when Antonio Banderas and Paddington are on their 2-man.
Yeah.
Paddington is eating yellow dragon fruit. Have you had yellow dragon fruit?
I have not had the pleasure.
Okay. Yellow dragon fruit will make you shit water. It is like 1,000 milligrams of fiber. It's like some crazy high fiber content.
No. Well,
and I saw a TikTok about it, and I was like, oh, well, every now and then I do indulge in a dragon fruit. And I say indulge because they sell those shits for like $5 per.
Yeah.
You can only get them at like Gelson's and Trader Joe's.
My neighbor grew one. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. And dragon fruit is so fucking good. Great in a cocktail.
Blend it up, put it in a smoothie.
Delicious.
Wonderful.
But that yellow dragon fruit, because someone on TikTok had said that, I was like, all right, yeah, right. First of all, the pure sweetest fruit I've ever had in my life. Like, it was sweet like candy is sweet.
Oh, wow.
Sweet like American fruit isn't usually.
Right, like American fruit flavored
And it
candy
was
is.
delicious, but like not but 20 minutes later.
Well, we didn't get the answer. Does a bear shit in the woods?
Well.
That bear did.
Absolutely. And let me tell you who shat water after eating the yellow dragon fruit. Me.
Yeah.
Me. It's worth get a yellow dragon fruit. It is very tasty. It is so worth it.
Just be home.
That's your night.
Just be home.
That is your night. And I will say also sometimes you kind of need a good cleanse.
Yellow dragon fruit. All right.
You ever sometimes get so like upset to your stomach, you're like, I kind of wish I had diarrhea.
Yeah.
Because it'd be like, I would just be done.
Yeah.
Like, if that's my night, so be it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you're nauseous and you're like, I just wish I could just throw up.
For sure. Yeah.
You know?
Yellow dragon fruit.
So yeah, there's that. And then also at the very beginning, we do see in Paddington's bedroom, he has a photo of him meeting the Queen, which is a little skit that they did, I think, for the London Olympics.
Oh.
In 2016. There was something where Paddington had tea with Queen Elizabeth, and it was like a whole thing.
That's very cute.
And I was like, it's canon.
I missed that entirely.
I only clocked it because I
you knew that, yeah.
They served it up a little bit too.
Okay, I somehow missed it entirely.
Yeah.
That's very funny. I don't know how that bear would have gone to meet the Queen, the bear we know and love, but he would. He knows his manners.
He is a talking bear.
He is a talking bear, and he does know his manners quite well.
The Brits love
a talking bear.
Little bear.
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh.
This is true. That's true.
Huge
huge
bear culture.
Yeah.
There's Winnie the Pooh. There's Paddington. There's, well, I was going to say the Velveteen Rabbit, but I suppose that's a rabbit. Not a bear.
Corduroy could be British.
Corduroy. Yeah.
Could be British.
Teddy Roosevelt really freaked it on us when he popularized the teddy bear.
Yeah.
That has really changed. Because I think, like, Paddington is based on a real bear, stuffed bear.
Okay.
That Michael Brown. Not like a
I was like, oh,
based on a real bear that Michael Brown met when he was in Peru.
I didn't want to be the one to break it to you.
No, but I feel like these bear stories come from the teddy bear.
Sure.
Which Teddy Roosevelt did not invent, but he did kind of popularize.
Sure.
And Harrods, I think, also has like a famous bear that they sell.
Well, Ralph Lauren, an famously American designer, has the bear logo.
But you can just call him Ralph Lauren.
No.
That's his American name.
Okay, I was calling him by his British name.
Ralph Lauren.
Yeah.
No, we have so few actual good fashion designers from this country. Like Tom Ford.
Yeah.
We gotta keep him American.
Sorry, Ralph Lauren.
Ralph Lauren.
Yeah, well,
that's the Paddington trilogy.
That's the Paddington trilogy. We love our little bear. Definitely recommend these movies.
Absolutely.
Watch them. For me, I saw someone comment this, and for me, I was the same way of like, it was always on my list, but when I sat down by myself to watch a movie, was I, an adult woman, going to actually turn on this movie? No, but I'm so glad I did. And if this is the push you need, if you're having a bad day and you don't know what to watch and you don't want, like, you're in the middle of something, just turn this movie on.
Or
just
turn these movies. Like a little palate cleanser. Like, I remember the first night I was back in my apartment after like the fires had been contained. I evacuated like just for one night. I wasn't that serious, y'all. But I put on Red, White, and Royal Blue.
Oh, yeah.
For my, like, you know what? I would just like to see something that's kind of fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I wish I had a Paddington movie that I hadn't seen for the first time.
Next plane ride.
Instead.
Gift it to someone else watching with broken headphones.
This is a good plane movie. It's a good daytime movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was talking to Kate about Severance is a nighttime TV show.
Yeah.
Like that's serious. Like I got to watch that movie. I got to watch that TV show at night.
Post work, get your full attention.
Yes. Sit down else. Dinner. This is my program.
Lock in.
But Paddington could be a good Saturday, 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Like I want to.
It's raining outside. I don't really know what to do. Turn on Paddington on a raining day.
Yeah.
You'll have a nice day. It'll make it sunny outside.
Absolutely.
At least in your heart.
Absolutely.
We'll be back with another trilogy.
For real this time.
For real.
We're really podcasting this time.
We're really podcasting this time. We're going to come back. We haven't discussed it yet.
That's the joy.
That's the joy. So you won't know. But keep an eye on the Instagrams because maybe we'll talk about it there. And I know what I'm going to say. We're going to talk about it there so you can watch the first movie.
Yeah, maybe we should just open it up and like, what trilogy should we cover next?
You guys have pitched.
What do y'all think? Fuck.
You guys have pitched some great ideas. We'll look back. We'll consult our records of
I
what
think
you've pitched.
the Revenge trilogy was a listener suggestion.
And
although everyone was always like The Godfather, which like I guess we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I'm not in a rush to. People have talked about the Godfather trilogy.
Let us know. Do we go serious? Do we go funny? Do we go light again? Give us a direction.
Foreign? Animated?
Let us know.
Have we done an animated trilogy?
Yes, we did How to Train Your Dragon.
How to Train Your Dragon.
Now we're just talking to each other, so we should sign off.
Sorry. Yes, at BS Podcasting on Instagram. We're online. Just look us up by name, I think, at this point.
Yeah, BS Podcasting on Instagram. We'll post our next movie trilogy, and you'll be able to follow along. And in the meantime, we're taking your suggestions.
Please.
They all go on a list.
Yes, we do read the comments, and we do listen to what y'all have to say. And thank you for listening.
Thank you so much.
We will be giving you more content on a more regular basis.
We'll do our best.
I swear to God. I swear to God. This time I'm being serious. Thanks
for listening, y'all.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. Cheerio.
Lights, camera, action! We're shooting threes, just SMB. We're gonna watch and review film trilogies. It's all for laughs, so just sit back. We're gonna drop hella dimes on this podcast.